It's the weekend. It's mailbag. It's been a hectic week for me, probably for everyone. It's getting to that time of year, isn't it? Anyway, I am joined this week by Warren, and in a change to the scheduled lineup, Matt is filling in for Sam, who's got leggy, so I hope she gets better soon. And making his mailbag, and I think Blue Room debut. It's Rob.
Yeah,
Rob, how you going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good.
Good stuff. Since it's a debut, I think we had this question quite recently though. What's the best debut anyone's ever had? Tony Cotte's quite hard to beat.
Was Tony Cottee the hat trick? Was it?
Debut.
Yeah, against Newcastle. Yeah,
against Newcastle. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, bright sunny day.
Yak had a good debut, didn't he?
4-0 win. Who did?
Yak had a good debut at Bolton, didn't he?
What was that? I can't remember.
Yakubu 2-0 against Bolton, I think. I think he scored after like a minute or 2 minutes. Andy Johnson laid it on a play for him, yeah. The heady days when we had good strikers who could put the ball in the
net. Yeah, we'll pick up on that theme a bit later on.
Strikers who can score goals, eh?
It's a wild thought, isn't it? Right.
Breaking the transfer record to sign the best striker in the country, Tony Cottee. Who'd have thought that one?
I know, 2.5 million as well. I think it was, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Mad. Right. Hot topic. What's been the most depressing result? Couple of reasons for this question. I think obviously the US election and probably Southampton last week as well. Both very, very depressing results. Although the US election was going to be a little bit depressing, however way it went. But anyway, I digress. Rob, what's been your most depressing result?
Well, I've got a bit of list that is generally the FA Cup. I know we won it in 1995, but it's been the most depressing competition, I think, for Everton. From even the final, Stephen Sahar scored early, and then it was the rest of it. Lukaku's penalty in the semi-final to the end of Walter Smith, Middlesbrough away to Shrewsbury Town, Oldham Athletic, Tranmere bloody Rovers, that Bradford City result with Joe Royle. I could go on like. I think we just, we've won it a few times, but the FA Cup's just cursed, I think.
Oh, God. On that
theme. We went down last season.
Yeah. Yeah. I reckon Shrewsbury was probably the club's worst ever result because they got relegated out the league that season, didn't they?
Yeah, Oldham Athletic aren't even a league club anymore. Tranmere Rovers, we give them a day out. We give them all the play. That was dreadful.
I think, now you come to mention it, I think for me, Port Vale is up there. Port Vale away got beat 2-1.
Well, I forgot about that.
We were cup holders and went out to them. Unreal.
And that was the season after Bradford City, that 3-2 then. Yeah.
I think it was, wasn't it? Didn't we have didn't we have Stockport in there as well at some point? Beat us, I think. Did they? I don't know. It all blends into one, doesn't it? We do go through
these. Jesus Christ.
Stockport was when John Ebrell scored, wasn't it? That year after, I think the year Port Vale beat us.
Was that League Cup?
We had to go no, that was FA Cup, but we had to go there for a replay. I'm pretty sure we beat them.
It was 2-2, wasn't it, at home?
Yeah. I can't remember what the result was at home, but I think it was 3-2 away.
Yeah.
We were holders, yeah. Yeah, God.
Warren, any advance on those?
Well, I used to like the FA Cup until Rob's just given me a list of them results there. But the most depressed I think I've been. I mean, there's been a lot, hasn't there? There's been a lot of games. God, it's like I keep saying it's character building, but bloody hell, there's only so much character I can build. Do you know what I mean? But the most depressing one was the 2016 semi-final. On the way back from Wembley, losing to them across the park. That was horrible. They were actually worse than us that year. I think we finished above them. Like, we weren't great, but they were awful. That was
2012, wasn't it?
2012, sorry, yeah.
2012.
They played on my birthday as well. That was on my birthday, that game. So that made it even a great birthday, So
that was, I mean, they had Jay Spearing in midfield for them, and we still couldn't beat them.
Yeah.
And that was just a hot. I mean, Wembley's not a nice place to lose a game anyway, but when it's against them, that was a horrible drive back on the minibus. That wasn't a nice one. Football. I mean, non-football wise, there's a few, like you said, dodgy election or referendum type results, isn't there? That's not being great. But football-wise, yeah, God, we've certainly had a few, haven't we, to pick from. I remember going to Bolton away. Daniel Sturridge scored twice when he was on loan to them, and it was a Sunday. I think we got knocked out, or we'd had UEFA Cup or Europa League, whatever it was, the Thursday before. So it was on a Sunday, and it was like a 2:00 kickoff, and it was pissing down with rain. And Bolton's not a great place to go to anyway, and we played dreadful, and we lost 2-0. And that was just one of them. Every so often under Moyes, we'd have one of them, which was just a terrible day. And that was all like going back on a Sunday, drenched, wet through, and knowing you got work the next day. Oh, awful. But yeah, Liverpool in the semi-final, depressing.
Yeah, it's fun following the Toffees, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, like now Rob's brought it up. It's mostly the cup games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because every cup campaign that you don't win obviously ends in a defeat, and that's the one you remember.
Yeah, true.
The one against Wigan, like in Moyes' last season, like we were on such a high, like we felt we probably could have gone on and won it, and then just to lose it in that fashion, like that, it just completely knocked every bit of stuff that we built up over 11 years out of us.
Yeah.
And we had a good laugh the next season, but we all know how that ended up. But I'm just thinking back to other FA Cup games, like was it the Reading game? Was that after we beat Chelsea on penalties?
Yeah.
It was a Wednesday night, that wasn't it? I think they played the game, did the next round in the week for some reason, because it was definitely a night match, and they played it in the week for some reason quite soon after the round we just got through. Wasn't that one of those seasons where like West Brom or Swansea or someone got the final as well?
Possibly, yeah. Well, yeah. All I can think of was Watford, but that was much more recent. But yeah, then another cup game that just came into my head was this. I mean, obviously the Derby one was pretty bad, but the other Derby, the pre-COVID Derby, when Klopp had spent a week beforehand complaining about fixture congestion and then deliberately put out a team to lose the match, and we still lost to a goal from a kid who hadn't even sat his GCSEs yet.
Yeah, that was horrible.
How?
Being on the front row, the Annie Road there wasn't nice either. Jesus. I just don't know we didn't score in that first half.
Everton.
But, it's a bit of a theme, isn't it, with us? Yeah, we've got a pretty comprehensive list here. So Paul said, Dynamo Bucharest 2005 away leg was hard to take after the Kalina debacle. Good use of debacle there. From recent times, there's too many to choose from. Burnley is up there, definitely, though. Get quite a few shots for Burnley. Actually, I think Burnley beating Watford was like a depressing result, even though it didn't even involve us. It was that season, wasn't it, where we were watching every single game that like had ramifications for our games, and that was pretty bad. Dave said 2-1 loss to Chelsea in the first leg of the League Cup semi. Tim Howard outjumped by Sean Wright-Phillips. Lost the second leg 1-0 at Goodison. That second leg at Goodison was one of the most dead atmospheres I think I've ever witnessed there, and we've witnessed quite a few dead atmospheres. Matt, 4-1 against Newcastle, most depressed of being coming off the ground, was convinced we were down. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Lewis, Everton 0-1 Reading in the FA Cup after we just beaten Chelsea away on pens to get through. Foxy still hasn't got over the Wigan quarter-final game, neither have Everton. Liam still has to be the Easter Derby 2001. Still sickens me. Amen, brother. Tangled Up in Blues, depressing the 4-1 at home to Newcastle again. So insipid with survival on the line and couldn't see how we wouldn't be relegated. Yeah, it was pretty low, that one. Stephen, Burnley away under Lampard. It was certain we were down at that point. Danny, losing 3-2 away at Burnley in 2022. Thought that was the final nail in the coffin. Gary, fair play to anyone who can single-handedly pull one out, as I've had about 20 in my head. So, yeah. Do
you know, just on that, did you see the other week around Halloween when someone put the league table up after I think it was after the Newcastle, was it after the New? It was where we were 19th. We were 19th with like 4 points from safety, and it was when we pulled that Brighton result out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was before that, and I looked and it gave me palpitations again, because you look at it and you go, how on earth do we survive? That was,
It just knocks you sick, doesn't it?
Oh, disgusting.
Right, we'll switch it up a bit, get off that depressing thread, and go to a question from Ed. If you could break Merseyside loose from England and moor it to any other country in the world, what would you pick? And would you live there? I think he added a little bit on that I've not included there. I'm sure I don't need to add that the country can't be landlocked, which is fair enough. We're not helicoptering it in, we're sailing it in. Matt? Oh, you're on mute. Just like a work call.
I feel like the obvious answer is Ireland, but to get a bit more creative with it, Australia, because it would be absolute chaos. There'd just be like pitch battles on the border between what would then, I guess, be the Merseyside Peninsula and the rest of Australia. There'd just be scraps all over the place, I reckon.
Where would you go? Would you go like sort of north or down south towards Tasmania? Or somewhere in the middle is probably best, isn't it?
I don't know. Which one's the maddest city? Probably Melbourne.
Yeah, it's either going to be there or somewhere really far north, like Darwin, sort of. But then I don't know how near the coast those places are. It's where you're going to get your fellas in your cut down shorts, isn't it? Proper like Wolf Creek psychos. Yeah. Yeah, that's a decent shout. Be quite the journey as well.
Decent weather.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what I'm going to go for, 100%. Warren?
So I'm going to go with somewhere where you've got the weather, but sometimes it's not as always brilliant, because I don't think our Celtic Irish skin would do too well with constantly hot weather. So I would bring us to Central America. And another reason for bringing us to Central America, if I'm right, and Matt will correct me if I'm wrong, because I reckon this is the type of thing Matt will know, isn't the happiness index of like Costa Rica meant to be the best in the planet or the best in the world? So I think we've had enough depression and knobheads and everything else. Let's take our brand of Merseyside culture and attach it to one of the Central American countries, be it Costa Rica, Panama, somewhere like that, where life seems to be all right. And let's attach us there. And there'd be a lovely journey across the Atlantic. I'm sure there'd be plenty of ale involved as we get there. And then we just park our little corner of the Northwest just in there. And I think we'd have a lovely time.
Like that. I'm getting visions now of like Merseyside getting pulled across the Atlantic by a fleet of ferries led by the Royal Irish, probably.
Yeah. And just adding, the whole sort of Wirral side of it as well to one end and then cut it round to Liverpool on the other. I think we'd have a great time. I really do.
Yeah, I'm all in with that, 100%. Rob?
Greece becomes a Greek island. It's good food. Nice. The Greeks don't give a shit, and it's decent weather, isn't it? And it's an alternative Greek island, so yeah.
I like that, yeah. So we just become our own Greek island off the mainland. Nice. Yeah, I was thinking something like that. I was thinking like Balearic Island or something, just for the weather. And the sea's lovely and warm. Yeah, right. Let's do it. That's all right to...
Good question, Ed.
It was a good question, wasn't it?
Yeah. Good mailbag question, that.
Unfortunately, we're back to Everton with Matt now. But it's not a bad question. There are no bad questions. In light of Keane being used as a striker lately, which Everton player could have been played in a different position? And Davis and Billy Netlov said that well. Billy Letnov are not allowed as answers, which is fair enough because he knows I would have just said Tom Davis. Warren, will come to you first.
Well, I know I'm not allowed to use it as an answer, but I was always an advocate of playing Billy Letnov inside rather than on the wing. I think he would have made something happen there. A lot of shouts for Baines in the middle of the park as well, which for me, I don't know. I don't know if I would have liked that or not. I just think he was such a good left back. But I think certainly someone who could put his foot on the ball and, and maybe have that little bit of creativity possibly. But do you know what? I remember saying and got shot down quite like a lot by my mates for saying this, but that season when Lescott was, when he got 10, we got into double figures, first defender since
Mountfield, wasn't it?
Mountfield, yeah. First defender since Mountfield to get into double figures. I thought, you know what, let's try him in an advanced position. And do you remember when he started, Lescott, he was left back, wasn't he, for the time being? And he used to bomb up that left-hand side. He was a brilliant left back. Better centre-half, but a brilliant left back. And I thought he had a bit about him. So I would have suggested playing him further forwards. And I think we did it a couple of times. Remember the game against Birmingham City? We threw them up there as like a last chance. I think we scored like quite a late goal. It was 1-1. Might have been Kale. I can't remember. But yeah, I always like a little bit of sticking someone where they shouldn't be. It's like when a keeper comes up for a corner, isn't it? Or when an outfield player goes in goal. There's something like quite exciting about it. I like trying players in different positions and just changing up a bit because football's quite dull nowadays. It's all the same. Every match is the same, isn't it? Pass from the back, press the players and do all that. I like seeing something a bit different and a bit mad. So yeah, more of that, please.
Yeah, David Burrows went in goal for the Reds, didn't he, when we beat them? Kevin Campbell game. And he made a great save towards the end.
Steve Staunton. Steve Staunton, not David Burrows.
It's the same fella, honestly. It is the same fella.
You two look alike.
Yeah. Oh, God. Anyway, Steve, so David Burrows was the one we had, wasn't he?
Mm.
Yeah.
The worst part exchange transfer in the history of football.
Ever. And probably why Mike Walker, no matter what, will always be our worst manager. Or just one of the reasons, anyway. Rob, what are you going with on this?
I mean, Neville Southall as a striker, like, or up front, like, he played a pre-season once up there, like, he could pick a player out. When we had Canchelsea's, it was basically, people go on about Pickford now. He used to read the game so well. He'd see Canchelsea's, like, and he'd pick him out, and then we just go on, like, and it just. So I always thought he was more of a. You could say that about keepers, like, but it's a bit of an obvious one, I suppose. Like, but I always thought like he was a frustrated. It was a frustrated outfield player, like stuck in goal, like really, like. Yeah,
it's not something people really sort of pick up on with Southall. It's distribution, but it was very good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, it's kind of a modern thing, isn't it? When people go on, oh yeah, play out from the back, so it's a new thing.
Yeah,
but keeper. That's why there's a lot of keepers who become managers. Like there's the fella at Forest and whatever. Because I think they see the game, they've got to read the game, haven't they? Like, so they've got to be skilled in it, really. Like,
yeah, they do see it definitely. I think the expats said Leighton Baines' best position was fullback, obviously, but at one period he was almost running the game as a playmaker from that position. Could have played across the midfield. I think certainly the more modern six, although we would have missed his crossing. Yeah, Martinez was toying with that, wasn't he? Like you said before, the Philip Lahm experiment. And then he says, I'd also love to see Pickford centre mid, which, yeah, I'll go with that as well. Matt?
I think Bilic should have played a centre half once in a while. Would have been nice.
That's a fair
we
shout.
could run through all the injured players who've never played for us. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any better than that anyway. Right, we'll go to Foxy now. No, we won't. Look at this. I'm like a bad local radio DJ here. I've done the questions in the wrong order. It's Lewis. It's just Lewis, actually. Question: who remembers proaction football? Sorry, I should have put on a very.
I feel like I should remember.
Who remembers proaction football?
I feel like I should remember this, but I don't know what it is.
Is it a computer game? No.
No, I'll show you now. He gave
is it that pitch you put on, like a real sort of Poundland Subbuteo?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
Poundland Subbuteo. Maybe that should have been the name of it. It would have worked better.
That's it.
I do remember it now. You put the picture up, but it didn't really take off, did it?
Did you push them down, or did you actually flick them like Subbuteo?
I think if you push them down, it's meant to have like a flick effect that the Subbuteo has, but instead of the Subbuteo, you flick with your actual fingers, don't you? But I think by pushing it down, it had the same effect. I think it was a different mechanism. But I do remember it, but I never had it. But Subbuteo, not to go away from Lewis's question too much, I always wanted the stadium and the lights and everything in Subbuteo. I used to obsess looking at the Subbuteo magazine, just wanting to build my own like footy stadium and get all the different teams and all the kits and everything. And they still have tournaments nowadays, don't they? Still have World Subbuteo Championships and stuff like that.
I always thought it'd be quite hard to like play the game with the stands all around and the floodlights were amazing, weren't they? Proper pylon ones. We always used to love going to BT's in Birkenhead because they had a massive Subbuteo section in the toy bit, and it had everything. And I think I've still got my Everton '95 team with the black and blue striped socks. They were so good, weren't they? Like the Subbuteo figures, the detail on them was great. This one that Lewis has shared, they're two Jag teams, them, aren't they? Is that like the Netherlands with away shorts and
I reckon that's
Argentina 86 away?
I reckon that's Luton. That orange.
Who's that with the black shorts then and the blue top?
Yeah, it is a bit Argentina 86.
It's Argentina
away,
86, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we looking at the same?
Nice Christmas cards in the background.
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking that, yeah, it is, isn't it? A bottle of wine on it.
Mom, I wanted the beauty out. What did you get me this for?
Oh god, it's definitely one of them, isn't it? You're shaking the box thinking, yes, I've got the Subbuteo set, and then you get that. Devastating. Right, so Matt, do you remember it? I don't.
No.
No.
I just about remember Subbuteo, like, but I never had it. I remember BTs though. I used to love BTs. I used to live in BTs.
That was great.
Look at the Hornby toys, Hornby trays.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quite a posh shop for Birkenhead, that, wasn't it?
Well, they have one at St. John's as well. Talk about posh.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
On the bottom floor, yeah. Became a game eventually, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah, BTs. Okay. Rob, do you remember it?
No.
Never mind.
Oh, Rob, we're on your question.
Oh, right, yes.
Do you want to read it?
Oh, yeah, with Noel Gallagher.
If you read it, we'll answer it.
With Noel Gallagher was doing the co-coms on whatever the City game the other night. So, as one person said, when's Mick Hucknall doing the United game? Which musician would do Everton games? And was just this a blind attempt by somebody at TNT Sports to get tickets for the Oasis gig? I think really.
100%. 100%. There's a bit of networking going on there, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what though? I switched
out by Ian Asprey. I never knew he was a blue, like, and he was hanging out in St Luke's before the game. He came out for the encore, didn't he, from the cult, like, in the Everton top. That was a bit of a weird one. Like.
Yeah.
So I suppose the other one is, it's hard to know which musicians support Everton now. I never had Ian Asprey down as a blue anyway, but maybe I've just missed that.
Yeah, he was born in Chester, moved to Canada when he was a young kid.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
what's his name from the farm? Keith Mullen, yeah. He's the only one that springs to mind I can think of who's a musician, who's a blue, but I'm sure there's more. There's got to be more.
Kieran from Circa Waves. Get Lee Marvers. I don't know where he is now from Malars. That would be interesting.
What's his name? What's his name?
It's the most Scouse thing to be. He's being an Everton fan, like, you know, like that's
yeah. that clip where they're doing a tour or something, or a video, they're performing in Germany or somewhere like that, and the woman goes and she says it in a thick German accent. What do you think of such and such? And he just goes, "What?" Like, really? I don't know if you've seen it. Brilliant. I'd say you who should do Everton co-commentary. One of the greatest musicians and one of our greatest supporters steps as Lee Latchford Evans. Get him on co-coms.
Yeah, that's a shout.
Yeah, he's got his middle name from my famous striker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One for you, Matt. Matt, one for you, Samuel T. Herring.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Yeah, definitely. Although we need to get him like doing the roaring monster voice that he does in his live performances.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say is having anybody on our co-coms other than Andy Hinchcliffe. Somebody observed on Twitter, I'm dying to read his memoir because he obviously hates Everton for some reason, to tell us all about it. Like, because I don't know why they always have Andy Hinchcliffe on. He hates us.
Yeah. It's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm
looking at the obviously any question about Everton celebrities, you got to go to the Toffee web list. Tricky.
The tenuous Toffee web list.
Is that the one that's got Colonel Gaddafi on it?
Let's have a look.
The one. Yeah, I think it has. It's got the
I'll tell you what.
Adolf Hitler, John F. Kennedy, and the Sultan of Brunei. That's quite the list. But yeah, it's got tricky. I'm pretty sure, like, him of Bristol trip hop fame, probably ain't a toffee, but who knows?
Have they got citations?
No, there's nothing. Oh, Nicola Roberts, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get
Liz McLaren as well.
Who's that?
Liz McLaren, Atomic Kitten.
Oh,
Get her
of
on
course.
there as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
Do you ever remember when Atomic Kitten were going and Everton had the worst kit campaign? It was something like Atomic Kit On with a picture of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
That was the
it's kind of
K-Jam.
all right.
K-Jam Puma
Nowadays, you
kit.
just have it on the internet for about, for a little bit as a bit of a vibe. You know what I mean? Like, but to put it on posters all over the town, Jesus Christ.
Right, we'll move on to Foxy's question now, which I thought we had before. Would you rather be a lion or a fly for a day whilst retaining your being? Explain your answers. Matt, go ahead.
Who the hell would say fly?
Well,
I'd say fly.
I'm thinking fly.
Yeah,
You get spotted straight away.
Not if you're clever. And that, it's the saying, isn't it? I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Imagine how many things you could hear and how many places you could go.
Yeah.
If you could be a fly on the wall, or you could just be an absolute lion and cause havoc. How fun would that be? No one knows to fly, but everyone's like, "Holy shit, there's a fucking lion there!" And you're like,
Oh, hang on. So, right. I was thinking like you'd be a lion in its natural habitat. Are you saying you'd be a lion knocking about your everyday life? Do you reckon?
Well, it says retaining your being.
Yeah, I thought he meant just like you, but you're a lion, but you'd be like.
Even in its natural habitat, like male lions don't do anything. The lioness does all the hunting and stuff. They just lie there. It's great.
I'd be the fly buzzing around your head, annoying you then.
Yeah, I would.
Well, what else is new, eh?
Yeah, just like a night at the Denby, that, isn't it? What are you going with the fly then?
Yeah, I think I could just listen to so many conversations, and I've got a thing about flying as well. I'd love to be able to see things from above and get a clear view of things and whatever. So yeah, I'd be the fly, definitely. I think you could get up to all sorts.
Yeah, as Matt said, though, it is quite dangerous. I mean, I'd 100% fly straight into a web. And that's me day and me life fucked. So, yeah. Rob, what are you going with?
Yeah, I reckon fly. Just, buzz around and just see and observe and, and spy on things whereas a lion, you're a bit more obvious, aren't you? Like, you can't be discreet, people will be scared of you. Who's scared of the fly?
I love the way that only one of the four of us said King of the Jungle. Basically, the rest of us have got really, really low expectations, haven't we? Liam has asked, there's a couple on Dyche coming up. So anyone who really loves Sean Dyche, maybe fast forward this bit. Do you think Dyche is on the wind up with some of his selections in inverted commas and tactics not in inverted commas? Interesting the way you wrote that, Liam. I'd put tactics in inverted commas as well.
Yeah.
I think last week with Brandoid he had to be on the wind up. I don't know what anyone else thinks.
Well, I'm president of the Sean Dyche fan club, so I don't know what you're all on about. No, it's. I just, yeah. Do you know what? I was sort of to go red hot soccer chat for a minute. I was sort of willing to back him a little bit more again this season. I thought we did at certain points well last season, but he just hasn't got it in him, has he? He hasn't got it in him to be progressive. He is a bit backwards and coming forwards, isn't he, as a manager? And he more excuses again in his press conference, wasn't it, about? And he made a comment about Beto again. I just think his mentality is just. The
comment was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's a bit shit, but he's getting better. It's basically the gist of it, wasn't it?
Or, all right, mate, we know you don't fancy him, but you don't need to go, it's not in a similar way, not in the same harsh kind of way, but it reminds me of Koeman and Nias, the way what he's saying about him. He's not gone as far as saying he hasn't got a locker and basically telling him to leave the club. But, yeah, it's I don't know. I just like I said on the pod last week, he's not going to be here next year. So hopefully we get someone in next season who's bright, young, up and coming, who can get us on our feet and get us excited again.
Do you mean next year as in January or next year as in?
Sadly, Rob. I mean from June onwards. Sadly, yeah. I think when his contract runs out.
But if we do a very Everton thing, like, is what will happen is we'll probably, if we do shit in all them tough games in December, it'll go about two minutes before the January transfer window, and we'll be scrambling around for a manager again. Like.
Probably.
It wouldn't surprise me. Matt, what's your take on this?
I think he is on the wind up, and I love it. I think it's great. Yeah, that's the only rational explanation for it. Because I mean, yeah, you can understand in a perverse way why he did play the Southampton game. He just didn't want to lose it. He'd be quite happy to draw every single away game 0-0, but we had something there where, I mean, we didn't lose that game because we didn't have Bradwaite on the pitch. I don't think that for a second.
I don't think we can see that goal if he's on the pitch.
I don't know. Like, how many times have we seen like a breakaway goal like that after an Everton chance last season when he was on the pitch? It just happens to us. Like, we haven't got the midfield to sort of contain that kind of stuff. But yeah, like things like put McNeil and Ndai in each other's positions, like things like that. It's like, come on, mate, what are you doing? But I think
did you ever used to watch Dream Team on Sky One?
I was aware of it. I was aware of it.
So one season there was a storyline where the manager, and it was a fella who used to be in the bill, I forget his name, but he was the manager and he bet on them to get relegated. And what he did was he started the season off by winning, and the guy was like, what are you doing winning? Like, you just put a bet on them to get. He said, well, I can't start off. I can't make it too obvious. I've got to, at least make it look like I want them to win. Then as the season went on, he started losing more and doing less things to help them win and whatever. Anyway, it led to his untimely death. Let's just say that. I'm not spoiling anything because no one's going to go back and watch Dream Team.
But you couldn't just get sacked in Dream Team, could you?
Lest we forget, Dyche is a copite. Big Liverpool fan as a kid. So is he like, knowing that he's coming to the end of his time, just gradually thinking, do you know what? I'm a Red. I'm going to give these lot misery for the time I'm here for what it's worth and get away with it where he doesn't get sacked, because he won't get sacked.
I think it's worth us saying, for legal reasons, no one here is suggesting that Sean Dyche has put a bet on Everton to get relegated.
Oh no, God, sorry, yeah. That is a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Just to save Matt Jones' heart palpitations.
Well, I think people can differentiate from a storyline on a fictional football team on Sky to Sean Dyche, but
you say that.
I'm just saying comparable situations.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gerard Houllier signed Didier Baptiste from the Dream Team.
He wanted to sign him, yeah.
So you never can tell, can you?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is we've got Copite Kevin, the Kettering Copite, at the helm in our last season at Goodison. What could go wrong?
Exactly.
Right, next question is it's from Gary and it's on Sean Dyche, and he's not pulling any punches either. Given some of the shite coming out of Dyche's mouth, when you've been coming to the end of employment at a particular company, what's the least arse thing you've done to get garden leave? My one with this is I have been made redundant from every single job I've ever had. So I've never actually done anything like that, which is quite sad. So anyway, Rob?
No, I've never really been in that position. No. So is he suggesting that he's coming out with shit at these press conferences because he's trying to?
I think he's basically sort of saying what Matt said. Yeah, he's just like, yeah, let's have a laugh with this. As not going to be here anyway. So, Matt, have you got anything?
Well, no, because I've never left a job. I've had the same job since I left university. So, I guess there's been some projects where the project was coming to an end and I didn't have much to do. But I've never done anything deliberately to antagonise them, I think.
Yeah.
No, like, I don't know. Sometimes I might take a little souvenir, like, not a computer or nothing, but like
a uranium rod, something like that.
No, not like that, but like, like a leftover sign or something that's just been left in a corner for 10 years that no one's going to miss. Things like that. But I've never really tried to antagonise someone. Maybe I'll be in that position someday. It'll be quite fun.
I've just thought, actually, one fella I worked with, he got put on gardening leave, but still came into the office and just sat at his desk and just did nothing. There was times he just had his feet up on his desk.
Brilliant.
That'd be quite fun.
Yeah,
But you've got to be careful with it though, because a guy I used to work with, he handed in his notice, which was a one-line email to me boss's boss, and he thought like he could just coast for the last 4 weeks, and my boss's boss sent him to hand deliver a report to Doomray, which is at the very far northern tip of Scotland.
That's amazing.
He found it very funny. He was like, fair play. And he got the mileage for it. So, but as I mentioned, the distance from Liverpool, because he lives in Liverpool, to get from Liverpool to Doomray, once you get to Glasgow, you're halfway there.
Oh God, yeah. Well, yeah, I've like my auntie used to live in like Drumbeg, which is just up the far northwest of Scotland. So once you sort of get onto those little A roads, she lived 100 miles. It took 3 hours to do 100 miles basically at one point. And it's like once you get on those A roads, it takes forever. It's amazing. Like, yeah, it's lovely, but it's so remote. Warren?
Well, I haven't been on gardening leave, but I used to have a job. This wasn't far from Ormskirk. This used to have a job where I used to have to pack garage floor seals and then send them off, and like, different things like that. And it was I was in the warehouse a lot, and I was on a 3-month probation or 90-day probation, and they called me in at the end of it, the fellow, and he just said, we're not renewing, or we're not keeping you on. And they said, but you still got 2 weeks worth of your probation left, and obviously if you want the money, you can. And I didn't do the garden leave thing. I just went, no, I'm not motivated by money. A polite way of saying you can stick your job, and then I rang one of my mates and said, I've just been, by all intents and purposes, sacked. Let's go out on the ale. And one of my good mates, he joined me for the ale, and we just had an all-nighter. I did an all-nighter, went on the ale in town. And so I did because I don't like confrontation really, and I did that thing where I thanked them for the opportunity, like proper cheesy thing. But I was quite proud of myself at the same time that I walked out on, giving them 2 more weeks of work. I was at the attitude of, you don't even want me, so why would I stay for 2 more weeks for you? And he was like, well, you said you wanted to, we give you the contract till the end of this time. You can still earn 2 weeks worth of wages. I thought, nah, you're all right. So yeah, I was quite proud of myself, but I left on. I always got told leave on good terms as best you can, because you never know when you might need someone again. So at least I did that. But yeah, I was quite proud of myself.
Yeah, and also if you go with that sort of like not quite passive aggressive, but it's hard for people to argue with it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, he did me a favour in the end, because what it led to was me doing what I've done since, and I'm much better position now and happier now than I was doing that shitty ass job. So yeah.
Toffee Nose, sorry, Tangled Up in Blues, but his name on it is Toffee Nose. Anyway, who's the best TV detective? Why and why? My God, I messed that one up. I'll start that again. At Toffee Nose 1878, also known as Tangled Up in Blues. Who's the best ever TV detective and why? Rob?
Oh God. Elder Sweeney was pretty good, wasn't it? He was good, like, and they weren't bothered, were they? Like, I don't even know what the character's name was in there, like, but they just used to let the case drop. And that was
Jack Regan, wasn't it?
Jack Regan, yeah, he was decent, wasn't he? Like, yeah, Dennis Waterman, yeah. Yeah, so because he didn't give a shit, like Flying Squad, like, like just get it done in London, like,
just
get the
just
job
kick
done.
heads, wasn't it? Do whatever work.
Yeah, that's it. But different times, 70s, you see. You couldn't have a detective like that. It's all mean and moody, Poirot and all that now, isn't it? Like, so.
The thing about the Sweeney as well is it had that dead sort of lively opening theme tune, didn't it? And then the end theme tune was dead sad. It was like a subdued version of the opening credits, wasn't it? It was just like really sad. God, that's got in my head. That's like a Sunday night program or something from when I was a kid. Just after bath time, getting dry by the fire. I could be making that up though. I don't know. Warren?
I've been watching at the minute the odd episodes of it's the modern day Sherlock Holmes. So it's with Lucy Liu's in it. She's the Watson. Like
Elementary.
It's set in elementary, yeah. It's set in New York, but he plays the Sherlock Holmes plays a very good character. But I'm going to give you 3 of the best detectives from the bill. You've got Tosh, Detective Inspector Tosh Lines.
Oh yeah.
DS Burnside and DS Beach. Now, if you want a detective, you get them 3, and they were old school. And that was a good show, actually. I used to enjoy watching that when I was a kid. They don't make them like that anymore.
Oh yeah, DS Beach, the
Yeah.
Don Beach scandal was a storyline
Yeah.
in the long run of the police procedural British television series, The Bill. Oh my god, I'm going to read that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burnside.
Burnside. He looked like he was hard. He looked like he was a bit of a gangster as well as a busy. But yeah,
he's
good.
done
Some
terrible
good
things.
Yeah.
Matt?
I've got quite a few for this. I am a big fan of like American cop dramas. Like the obvious one is The Wire, like a lot of people's favorite TV show. There's so many great characters in that. Like Lester Freeman, I think is the ultimate in that.
Yes.
Especially at the beginning when he's just sat there quietly fiddling with his little dollhouse furniture.
Yeah.
And then just walks off and then comes back and blows the whole thing wide open.
Oh, what a shout.
But I think the ultimate, it's got to be John Munch. Like, as a character, if you take his appearances and everything he's been in, even cameos and episodes, as a shared continuity, the amount of TV shows that exist in the same universe is insane. So you've got Homicide: Life on the Street, Law and Order, Arrested Development, The X-Files, The Wire, 30 Rock, and American Dad are all set in the same universe because he appears in them as John Munch. It's crazy. Oh, and all this Chicago ones as well, I think. Like Chicago Fire, PD, all them ones.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those as well. It's absolutely mind blowing. I was sort of called The Beat as well, which I've never seen.
That is pretty definitive, like.
But yeah, R.I.P. Richard Belter. Like he brings together so many TV shows as like this is all one universe, and it's crazy. Including 30 Rock, and I'm sure these have probably got like crossovers as well within them. In fact, actually, I was looking at the thing here. There's an episode of Luther where Idris Elba mentions Detective Munch from the NYPD. So that would imply that Luther and Stringer Bell exist in the same universe, and they're just doppelgangers.
Yeah, they can't meet. Everything rips apart then if they meet. The one that immediately sprung to my mind was Russ Cole from True Detective Series 1. If anyone's seen that.
I have, but I'll say no more because I can't stand it.
Fair enough. I'll leave it there. On that bombshell, we'll move on to Stephen's question. Who or what have you inexplicably given a second chance? Matt, give True Detective a second chance.
No.
Give it a go, Matt.
No. I just no. I can't stand just him sat there babbling like A-level psychology nonsense. It's oh no.
Anyone giving anything a second chance inexplicably? I think I gave Southern Comfort a second chance and threw up again, so I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, I had the bad night on JD, and that's me done. I'm not giving that a second chance. No way.
If you've got your drink, you've got your drink. Never go back.
Yeah, no, can't do it. Yeah,
I
give second chances every day in my job. I've got to really, and a lot of the time it backfires, but it's part of it, and you get let down sometimes, and other times it works. But yeah, inexplicably give them out every day.
How often do you pull the disappointed card?
Oh, all the time. I'm king of the disappointment cards. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
See, even I feel sad now. And I've
do you know what? I bring out as well some of the. This is a line I like doing, and it's kind of a version of the disappointed line. I go, do you know what frustrates me about you? I know you can do better, and you're just not showing it at the minute.
That is a good one. That is good. Put it right back on them.
Yeah.
Rob, anything?
Apart from harking back to the first question, we always give Everton a second chance. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
We do. God, yeah.
Third,
fourth, fifth, sixth. Yeah.
We'll go on to Laura's question. Okay. What is the best street or road suffix when it comes to a footballer? For example, a winger goes down a blind avenue, so Walcott Avenue works. Coleman goes on drive and runs, so Coleman Drive works. We had a couple. Liam said Ali McCoist, which is good. And Laura said Miroslav Klose, which again is good. But then Laura said these are more puns, not necessarily the notion of connecting the player's style of play to the suffix. Which, I don't know, she just sounds like when Homer Simpson as the audio book, and he starts talking funny. Like I'll have a sex tape available. Yeah, but we can go with either. You know,
I struggle with stuff like this because, and as well, there's only so many like avenue, roads, streets, isn't there?
There's Calvert-Lewin cul-de-sac.
Well, I was going to say I was trying to come up with a cul-de-sac one, but I thought you need probably a French player there, don't you? Like I don't know, Killian cul-de-sac or something. I don't know. But again, there we go. There's proof. I'm no good with these type of things. So
I just got one on one of Dyche's catchphrases. Back on the grass market.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Back on that works.
Having that. Matt, anything?
Well, I mean, if you're going like down the Piccadilly route, it's just the Everton circus, wouldn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one. Oh right, we've got three questions left. Got a nice one here from Chris. Bit early for this, but we'll go with it. Best Christmas present as a kid?
Everton home kit, 93, 94, old school NEC, blue with the white shorts and the socks. Best kit, best present ever.
Those shorts, the blue band around the top, around the elastic was a lovely touch.
And they had a little bit which just had EFC in like quite old school font. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
can't beat that, can you? Yeah, can't beat that.
Rob?
Yeah, ZX Spectrum is the first sort of computer thing.
Yes.
And coding, learned your coding like before, years later, sort of, yeah.
Are you talking like the little 48K with the rubber keys?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first spec I got was the 128K. Massive computer that. 128K with the tape player attached.
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't get born now, these kids, like the computer games.
I know. And the best thing is though, you could just like tape to tape games.
Yeah.
Not that I ever did that, but you could if you wanted to. Yeah, that's a hell of a shout. Matt?
Probably an Action Man stealth bomber, where if you held this enormous thing, it was literally about that wide. And when you held it, you press the button on top, the bottom would come out, and Action Man would come out on the motorbike.
Oh, that's incredible. That's ridiculous.
Insane piece of kit.
Yeah.
But the wings broke after like 5 seconds because it was not made very well. So.
But the motorbike thing worked, so.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But kids break things.
For that first couple of minutes.
And I was a large kid, as you can imagine. So I broke things quickly.
I think mine.
Well,
you can. Exactly. I think mine. 1987 Christmas. I was just sort of like properly getting into clobber, but still loved getting toys. So that Christmas, I got an Action Force tank that was battery operated. You just switch it on and it just like chase the cat, but really slowly. And I also got a Jade Green Adidas trackie and the Everton trackie from that season, which is the one. It's the Umbro one with the 2 like yellow and white panels down the front. Oh, absolutely stunning trackie that.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably that's the one that comes to mind for me. Another one from Chris. Trump and Farage alone in a room. Describe the smell.
I reckon like a kind of a takeaway greasy smell, but also like that really overbearing, powerful, musty aftershave smell as well. Like a really sort of wooden, like smoky wood root or something like that, with a hint of mango.
with a musty back of the cupboard smell as well.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Rob?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking of Brute, like, it's old school smells, isn't it? And just a lot of sweat, like, and
real ale and backy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, Matt. As soon as I said that, I thought, oh shit.
That's my Friday night, that.
You always smell wonderful, mate. I wouldn't let you pick me up otherwise. Although not that I get much choice in that anyway, so.
You asked for it.
Well, I do. I love it, really. What are you going with?
The sexual tension between you two. Bloody hell.
Blue room after dark. Yeah. If I'm in the room, then it smells of decaying corpses.
Oh, yes.
And whatever smell that you get from friction between the bottom of a shoe and someone's head. Not to get too graphic, but
Fair enough. Yeah, I did.
Blue room after dark.
2 words immediately sprung to my mind when I read this question: piss and biscuits.
Yeah,
There
definitely.
you go.
Yeah.
And we are on our last question, if I can get it. There we go. And it's from Keith, and it's a play on an old Mailbag classic. If Everton Football Club was an animal, what would it be? And could you single-handedly cling film it to a lamppost? Rob?
It'd probably be a cat. Who, at times, they're quite interesting, but other times they're just annoying. I don't. Well, you probably could cling film a cat to a lamppost. It'd be quite an interesting experiment trying to do it.
Yeah, I reckon it's cling filmable.
Yeah,
Defo. Matt?
it's probably a pug, isn't it? It's like it's because they're meant to be fun, like most dogs are, and you do get a bit of enjoyment out of them. But then they've got all these like issues that have been there for generations, and just cost you loads and loads of money to try and fix them, and eventually it doesn't work, and then it dies on its arse, and you're sad, and they're quite ugly.
Could you cling film it?
Yeah, that's probably the
Yeah.
best thing for it. Put it out of
Yeah.
its misery.
Warren?
I reckon some sort of snake that has its venom taken out of it, so it devenomized, if that is even a word. Devenomized,
Yeah.
defanged, what rattlesnake? There we go. Because they rattle about and they turn up every weekend, do our head in, but ultimately got no bite. And and you know what? I couldn't cling film it to a lamppost because I think I probably wouldn't want to touch one.
Fair enough. Yeah. I'm gonna go with a panda. Basically. Because it generally looks alright, but for what it's meant to be, it's a bit shit, isn't it? They are crap bears, aren't they?
Yeah.
They just like
hardly any penetration.
they don't do bear things, do they?
No.
So I'm gonna go with a panda, I think. And I reckon I probably could cling film to one because I'd just be sat there, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's just being daft. But
They're not as big as you think, pandas.
the what?
They're not as big as you think.
Are they not?
No.
I need for on Keith's behalf as well. I just need to say whenever we mention the word panda, it's got to come with the picture of Graham Sharp holding that panda. And
oh my god, that's going to be the thumbnail.
It's that Keith always brings it up whenever he's being on Mailbag if panda comes into the conversation. So on his behalf, I have to say that. And if you don't know what I mean, I'm shocked because it's done the round so many times. But Google Graham Sharp panda.
Sharpie's face is absolutely incredible.
It's like it's one of them Everton without context, like out of context Everton, isn't it? It's like why?
So I've only got. I'll put it up now. I've only got this one where the panda's face is weirdly been obscured. It's on the Grand Old Team forum.
Has he had it removed from the internet?
It looks like so. It's on the Goth forum here.
It's just such a funny picture. You got it up there.
There it is.
Yeah. That doesn't look like it's a panda.
No,
it looks like someone's photoshopped it or something.
They've done something to its face.
Yeah. So you can't search that picture online. You must be able to, surely.
There's nothing. It doesn't come up. That's the only way I've got it on that.
I don't believe it.
Let's try Bing. It might be on Bing.
Oh, I don't believe it's not. It must have got it taken out because it's nowhere.
Well, it's gonna be on the thumbnail for this mailbag. So there we go. And look at
Wow.
that at the bottom there. My little SEM Rush advert because I'm a nerd. There we go. Right. Yeah, that's it for this week's mailbag. I'll stop sharing when I work out how. There we go. Stop sharing. That's it for this week's mailbag. Thanks everyone. Rob, solid debut. Please do.
Debut, Rob. Brilliant. We'll have you back.
Lovely stuff. Matt and Warren, as ever, always a pleasure. Cheers, gents. And thanks to everyone who sent questions in. We will be back the same time next week. Up the toffees.